Hey, what's up, and welcome to my first official list video, because YouTube loves good list videos. So basically, if you've been following up on my vlogs, you know that I go to Universal Studios Florida a lot. Probably because I live about 20 minutes away. Anyways, that will be the topic on this video, is the top 10 rides at Universal Studios Florida. And I'm also including Islands of Adventure because it's literally right next to the park. However, I will not be doing Volcano Bay because I can make that a totally different list. So anyways, on towards the list. Starting all the way at number 10 is Transformers. Transformers is located directly, almost like perfectly in the middle of Universal Studios. Transformers is a mix of real sets, but mainly screens. It's a big 3D ride, so you have to wear 3D goggles to get into the ride. Basically, the story is like this. You are inside of an Autobot named Evac, and you're trying to protect the cube and make sure no Decepticons get it, and you're being helped out by some Autobots. And basically, at the end, you put the cube inside Megatron's chest, kind of like Sam did in the movie, and then he dies, and you save the world. Anyways, what I really like about this ride is just how immersive it is. The sets are cool, even though a lot of them are screen. It's fun because you can see, like, in one scene you can see lines of helicopters, and there'll be like screen-based, and then there'll be like one that's like real right there to keep you like feeling like you're part in the screen, sort of. I know I'm explaining this very strangely. Anyways, there's no big drops in this ride. There's not a lot of scary elements that you'd find on most roller coasters, because this isn't even a roller coaster. It's basically a dark ride with really cool screens. And also, the visuals on this ride are amazing. The CGI is like next level. It's really good for a theme park ride. It's one of the better 3D rides at most theme parks that I've ever been to. Anyways, taking the number 9 slot is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts is an indoor steel roller coaster. On the Universal side, it's part of the whole wizarding world of Harry Potter. It's basically a dark ride that also uses a bunch of roller coaster elements with awesome strobe effects and 3D motion projections, so you will need 3D glasses on this ride. It replaced the Jaws ride that closed in 2012. This ride takes guests through the vaults of Gringotts, where they meet several characters from Harry Potter films. What I also like about this ride is just how immersive it is. Universal really did a great job at making the wizarding world of Harry Potter so incredibly detailed. It is probably the best themed land in the whole world. Out of any theme park, that is. It's definitely the most well-known as of today. Gringotts is a fun ride. I love the roller coaster part of the ride. That part's really fun. But also, just the effects, they're so good again. They're even better than Transformers, but it is newer than Transformers. But it's just so good. I really feel like everything is there in this ride. And also, I love a good story of a ride. You'll see that as a reoccurring theme with my list, how I love rides with a good story. And I just love the mixture of the roller coaster, the dark ride, and the screens. It just blends perfectly together. The only thing I wish was a little bit better on this ride was it's very short. I wish it could be longer, but that just shows you how much I enjoyed the ride. Coming in on number 8 is the E.T. Adventure. This is one of the opening day attractions at Universal Studios. It's the last one, matter of fact, that's still running and operating today. And if you ask any annual pass holder or anyone who comes in contact with this ride, the smell is awesome. And I know that sounds weird, but we are weird like that. The E.T. ride is just so iconic. So many people know about it, so many people have ridden it. It's over 20 years old. They just did a refurbish on it and it looks amazing still. I really hope it doesn't ever go away just because I'm so attached to this ride and it's been with me for forever. It's such a good ride. If you haven't ever ridden it, you need to go to Universal and ride it right now. Basically, E.T.'s planet is dying and he needs your help. You're greeted by Steven Spielberg in the very first room you go, and it explains the whole story. So you go on these bikes. E.T. is in your bike with you. He's in the casket up front, kind of like in the movie. You're going along, you start in the woods, you're going through on your bikes, like flying everywhere. And then finally you get so high you can see the whole city, you can see a big moon, and then you travel all the way to E.T.'s world. You can see that it's dying, and then he has to use his magical healing finger and heal the whole planet. It's a great ride if you have small children, and it's really entertaining. I'm literally going to college now, and I still find it entertaining. Coming in at number 7 is Skull Island Reign of Kong. This ride is located at Islands of Adventure. It is one of the most immersive rides I've ever been on. Besides the wizarding world of Harry Potter, this is the most immersive ride at Universal. It's set in a time period of the 40s, I believe. You can see everyone wearing like 40s style clothing. The line is one of the best parts of the ride. I know that seems very strange just because normally people don't like lines. That's why people buy express passes or fast passes so you can skip the line. But if you go to ride this ride, you need to stay in that line. It is decorated so good. There's even some surprises in the line, like hidden scare actors in like certain parts of the line in these little dark crevices, and they're like in full makeup prosthetics and it looks just like the movie. There's also some animatronics you'll find when you're going in line, and they basically curse you so that you will run into Kong when you ride this ride. There's also other big animatronics, like this big slug looking thing that has teeth all the way around it on the ride, and it just looks so real. Like, it's so good. And then when you finally get on the ride, you're boarded this expedition. It's this big bus that fits like 70 people at a time. So you're going along, you start on the outside of the whole island, and then you go inside these big doors that open up. They're just huge. You're bigger than the Jurassic Park doors. And it's hot because there's fire going around you. There's a bunch of fire effects. And then you see this big dead King Kong. I don't want to spoil the whole ride, but this ride, like at the very end, there's this big King Kong animatronic. It is the realest looking animatronic, probably the best one in the whole theme park business. I've never seen anything that looks more realistic than this King Kong animatronic. It is just so massive, it's so impressive. When you go on the ride, there's people, you're riding with a bunch of people. It's funny to hear everyone just get silent as soon as that Kong comes up. Coming in at number 6 is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster. This is the first outdoor roller coaster on the list. If you love great thrills, you're gonna love this coaster. This coaster starts off with the normal going uphill, but instead of taking forever to get up that lift hill, it just shoots you straight up, like going at least 40 miles per hour. It's very fast. This is my favorite outdoor roller coaster at Universal, especially because they just refurbished it and everything is so smooth. Even the queue line is awesome. They have these big volts of electricity going everywhere and this big like capsule looking thing. Clearly you'd send in people, like regular people, and then all these gamma rays would go on them and then they would turn into a Hulk. Pretty simple, it's not much to explaining this ride. If you love a great roller coaster and a great themed roller coaster, the Incredible Hulk is for you. Coming in at number 5 is Men in Black. This one is located back on Universal Studios, a shooting game where you're in the Men in Black universe and you're trying to become a Men in Black. So you first start off in like a training room. You're shooting at like all these alien targets, and it's set up just like in the first movie when Will Smith is shooting at all the alien targets, so it's really cool. But then becomes an invasion of aliens and you're sent off to go kill all the aliens that just landed. You're trying to get the highest score you possibly can by shooting the aliens. There's a bunch of secrets that I do not want to tell you in this video. It's really cool to max out. Also, this ride has one of the biggest animatronics in all of Florida. It's at the very end of the ride. It is basically one big alien. You go inside the mouth, you're shooting it, and you gotta push the red button. Oops, that's a secret. And you get like a bonus 100,000 points if you push the red button, which they tell you not to do at the beginning of the ride. Anyways, the story's great. It's a really fun shooting ride, and that's why it is number 5 on my list. Number 4, Jurassic Park. As some of you might know, Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time. It's my favorite film franchise of all time. So to find out that there's this big Jurassic Park land at Islands of Adventure that features a Jurassic Park river ride, I was so in for it. Now this ride was made in the 90s, so it is becoming a bit dated now. You can see that in the animatronics, but they do replace the skins yearly to try to make them look as real as they can. However, it would be awesome if this ride had a big refurbishment and redid all the animatronics so they would look as good as they did in the 90s, because like, they're a little worn now. But other than that, it has one of the steepest drops in any water slide in Florida. It is about 80 feet tall. It is so fun at the end, and the T-Rex still looks amazing. Also, it has a great story. It's great if it's a hot day and you want to get a little bit cooler. However, this ride does get scary at some points, so probably not all little children will enjoy it. But however, I do love it, and it is one of my favorite rides of all time. Coming in at number 3 is the Amazing Spider-Man ride. This ride was the first big 3D ride at Islands of Adventure. It opened in the early 2000s and has now spawned a clone, which is basically the Transformers ride. It's just the same as Spider-Man, it's just themed as Transformers. However, I still like the Spider-Man ride a whole lot better. It mixes more real sets with the screens. So it's not basically 80% screens like it is in Transformers. Here it's maybe like 65% screens, and then it's like everything else is real. It also has really cool sequences where it feels like you're actually going up like through us buildings, and there's just one effect I just love. It gets me every time, where like it's towards the end and you're about to turn around and Spider-Man like jumps on your car and then jumps on like a movie theater. And I also do believe this ride mixes real sets and the screens a lot better than Transformers, mainly because there's just more practical things in this ride. At number 2 is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Now, like I said before, I am not the hugest fan of the Harry Potter series. I do enjoy the movies a lot. I just don't connect with Harry Potter as well as a lot of other people. I do, however, still like the franchise a lot, and I'm still greatly impressed with what Universal has done with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Now, this ride has revolutionized a dark ride technology. It has won the Golden Ticket Award for Best Dark Ride for about 6 years in a row now, and it's been open pretty much 7 years now. The technology in this ride is so amazing, and as well, it is blending screens with practical things. But there is more practical effects in this ride than there is screens. There is still a lot of screens. I'd say it's more like 45% screens and 55% everything else. There's an awesome dragon animatronic on this ride. The Dementors are awesome. However, this ride is probably one of the scariest rides at Universal, so some small children may not enjoy it that much. But however, people like me love it. There's also an awesome tree that comes down to, I forgot the name, and it just looks awesome. I'm so happy that the animatronics are still holding up in that ride. I just wish the screens were a little bit more clear. It kind of looks like the projectors are like a slightly out of focus right now, but I'm sure they'll fix that soon. The theming of this ride is also amazing. Just walking in the castle is just so impressive. Like, Hogwarts Castle is like the most impressive looking castle out of any theme park. It's just so cool. It's huge. And it just, the design is just amazing. If you're a big Harry Potter fan and you haven't ride this ride yet, what are you doing? Get down here to Florida, ride this ride. Or it's now opened in Hollywood, at the Universal in Hollywood, ride that one. I think there's also one in Singapore. Don't quote me on that, but there might be one, so go ride that if you're in Singapore. All right, it's come that time for honorable mentions. Here's my first honorable mention. Deadly Do Ride's Ripsaw Falls. That ride is an extremely fun water flume ride. It has a lot of drops. They have like one big one at the end. However, I don't feel like that one gets you quite as wet as the inside ones. So if you love a good water flume, you need to ride that ride ASAP because it is really fun. My second honorable mention is the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. Now, I would have put this one closer on my list. However, I just feel like it is in desperate shape of a refurbishment. I just rewrote it like a week ago, and it is just so bumpy now. All the tracks, they just really need to replace. It'd be cool if we can get an updated songs playlist, because on this roller coaster, you are given a little touchscreen on the bar that comes over you, and you can pick a song, and there's speakers like right here, so you can listen to music, and it films you while you're riding the roller coaster. So it's sort of like a music video. However, it's just barely missed the list because I just feel like it really could use a good refurbishment, and I like the Incredible Hulk coaster a lot better. Alright, now is the time. My number one ride at Universal Studios Orlando is The Mummy. The Revenge of the Mummy. It's just a perfect ride. It's a great roller coaster. There's no screens in this ride. It has amazing animatronics. I love the eerie feelings you get in the very beginning of this ride as you're going through the tomb and you find Emotive. Now this guy, if you see this animatronic, it's just so cool. So Emotep is after you because you don't have the Magi symbol. As soon as you find that Magi symbol, you're safe from him and you can go on your merry way, which does light up at the very end of the ride. Thank God. Also, this ride has a really awesome backstory, which I would love to explain to you guys in a different video because it's just so long. I did take a tour of the ride and they did explain to me the whole backstory. It is just so interesting. So I will be putting it in a future video. Also, the set pieces in this ride are just huge. This ride used to be the King Kong ride, which you were in this big like city gondola system looking thing. And you go along the city and the sets would be huge, like city sets. And there'd be also these King Kong animatronics, which are bigger than the new one. However, the new one is a lot more real looking. So they did take that ride out and replace it with The Revenge of the Mummy. And it's just awesome that they could put that roller coaster in such a huge building so they could pull off all these amazing sets. The ride is not very fast, but it does go about 40 miles per hour. It also has a launching lift hill like the Hulk, which is also really fun. I really love launch hills. They're a lot more it's a lot more fun than just going up a hill slowly. There's also a ton of fire effects in this ride, so you will be feeling the heat once you ride The Revenge of the Mummy. And that's my list. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more videos, well, subscribe to my channel right up here. And I really hope you come back. I also make vlogs. I also make drum covers. I'm a huge Blue Man Group fan. I hope to come on one day. So I also post a bunch of Blue Man Group content. So you can go back to my channel and look at all that. I'll be posting more in the future. And thanks for watching and have a great day.